Ready na ba ang lahat sa ating mga tanong for tonight? Okay, give me a thumbs up or heart reaction kung ready na kayo. Now, ang sa board exam, ang purposive communication in English, actually, we can just take it as general English, no? Gen Ed English siya, kumbaga. Okay, despite that it's named as purposive communication, pero ito ay general English, no? Kaya itatake natin yung mga different, topics na under sa English, okay? Na usually lumalabas sa board exam. Okay, so I think we're ready. So here's question number 1. Who is the father of modern communication? Again, who is the father of modern communication? Is it A, Aristotle, B, Pythagoras, C, Sophocles, or D, Alexander Graham Bell? Sige nga. Ayan, napakadaming comments. Sige. By the way, hindi ko na titignan kung sino yung nakakatamang sagot, pero sasabihin ko na lang. Nandiyan naman yung mga admins to check kung sino nagbigay ng tamang sagot. Ayan. So napaka-active ng ating chat box. So tingnan natin kung sino ang may tamang sagot. So the answer here is it's actually Alexander Graham Bell. Ayan. So nakita ko kanina napakaraming sumagot ng letter A. No, actually I understand you guys kasi um marami din naman talagang reference that it's saying that it's actually Aristotle. However, if titignan natin sa board exam, if i-base natin sa board exam, no? Kung i-base natin sa board exam, at sa current and updated one, okay, the father of modern communication is Alexander Graham Bell. Bakit? Because Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. No, si Alexander Graham Bell kasi nag-invento ng telephone. And as we can see at present, 'di ba, na makita ninyo, dahil nagkaroon na-invent ni Graham Bell ang phone, ang telephone to be particular, nag-improve tayo in terms of communication. Nandiyan na yung mga smartphones natin, na-improve yung mga messenger and everything like that. But it started with the invention of Alexander Graham Bell. That's why he is named as the father of modern communication. Tandaan niyo yun ha. Ngayon, sir, paano po kung sa board exam wala si Alexander Graham Bell? Okay, ganito. Ang iba kasi, ang dahilan kaya bumabagsak sila sa board exam ay kinokontra nila ang tanong. Okay? Sa board exam, guys, huwag kayong maging boastful, no? Kung ano yung binigay ng board exam, kung ano yung mga choices doon, kung feeling nyo wala yung tamang sagot, sumagot pa rin kayo. Hindi yung, ay, hindi ko sasagutin yan kasi wala namang tamang sagot dyan. Ganon. Hindi ganon, no? So, ngayon, halimbawa, sa board exam, lumabas ay wala si Alexander Graham Bell. Halimbawa lang, wala si Alexander Graham Bell, pero nandyan si Aristotle. Ang isagot nyo ay si Aristotle. Naintindihan? Ganon. Ganon sumagot sa board exam ha. Pero kapag si Aristotle at si Bell ay nandyan, isagot nyo si Alexander Graham Bell because it's actually Alexander Graham Bell. Naintindihan? Okay. So, ayan, daming sumagot. So, that's it. I think we're ready for the next question. By the way, to inform you, I have here 30 questions and I have some bonuses questions pa. So, magstay kayo until the end of the call, please. Ayan. Okay, next tayo. Who is the father of debate? Ayan, paunahan. Is it A, Aristotle, B, Pythagoras, C, Sophocles, or D, Alexander Graham Bell? Is it A, Aristotle, B, Pythagoras, C, Sophocles, or D, Alexander Graham Bell? Sino ang father of debate? Sige, check ko yung mga sagot ninyo. By the way, I'm using two devices. That's why, I'm checking here. Okay, yumuyo ko ako, no? I'm checking your answers. Okay, so may mga C, may letter B din. Okay, so I think divided ang sagot natin. It's C and B. Okay, so sino nga ba ang father of debate? So malalaman na natin. Ang father of debate ay si Pythagoras. Okay, si Pythagoras, ang father of debate. Why? Kasi si Pythagoras, he's named as the father of debate because he emphasized that there are two sides in every question. So if just like ninyo, if you read literature and different, different resources or references, si Protagoras kasi sinabi niya sa lahat ng bagay laging may two sides, may positive, may negative, may pros, may cons, may agree, may disagree. That's why he is named as the father of debate. So it's Protagoras. Kitandaan niya si Protagoras ang father of debate. Ngayon napansin ko napakadaming sumagot ng letter C, si Sophocles. Okay? Okay lang yan guys na magkamali. Sinasabi ko to palagi. Okay lang magkamali ngayon, wag kayong mahiyang magsagot. Mas okay na yung magkamali ka ngayon kaysa magkamali ka sa board exam. Magkamali ka na ngayon para itatama na kita or matama ka na namin. So that when you go to the board exam, tama na ang isasagot mo. So wag kayong matakot sumagot dyan kahit nagkakamali kayo. Okay lang yan. At least natututo kayo. Kasi kung hindi kayo magkakamali at hindi kayo susubok, hindi kayo matututo. Alright? So proceed tayo sa next number. So this one, who is the father of purposive communication? Okay, so who is the father of purposive communication daw? Is it A, Aristotle, B, Plato, C, Shakespeare, or D, Alexander Graham Bell? So sino ang father of purposive communication? Yan yung subject natin tonight, no? Purposive com. Is it A, Aristotle, Plato, Shakespeare, or D, Alexander Graham Bell? Sino ba yung mga sagot ninyo? May Aristotle, may Plato din. Okay. Meron din sumagot ng Graham Bell. Okay. All right. So let's see. So the father of purposive communication is it's Aristotle. So the father of purposive communication is Aristotle. So balikan nga natin konti. Sino kasi ang father of debate? Si, sagot kayo dyan kahit di ko kayo naririnig. The father of debate is Protagoras. Sino man yung father of modern communication? Si Alexander Graham Bell. Sino yung father of purposive communication? Ayan sa screen, si Aristotle. So, si Aristotle kasi kaya siya tinawag na father of purposive communication because of his model. Ayan, Aristotle model of communication. It is a linear model, no? It's one of the oldest models of communication. Okay, so Aristotle model. Ayan yung model ni Aristotle, wherein it's linear. When we say linear, the communication is one way. It means that the sender or the receiver will not. That's why it's called linear communication. Okay, and kaya din siya tinawag na father of purposive communication because his model became the foundation of other, diba, of other models of communication. All right. So, ayan. Very good. Okay. By the way, yung iba sumasagot sila ng ng walang number. So hindi kasi mo consider yan kapag walang number, no? Kaya lagyan niyo ng number. Halimbawa, number 3 na tayo, 3C, ganun, no? Kasi di yan makakount kapag hindi kayo nag-follow ng instructions. All right. Next question tayo. Ayan. Anna called her mom to inform her that she had passed the let. Okay. However, because Anna was near the highway, the noises from the passing cars made the message unclear. What model of communication is depicted? So, si Anna daw, ay, yan, kinol niya yung mama niya, mapasado po ako sa let. Ayan, kayo din yan sa no? Inform niyo yung parents ninyo, napasado na kayo sa December. Ngayon, dahil maingay, dahil nasa tabi siya na, napakaingay. So, it distracted and disrupted the communication. So, ano yung communication model na dinidepict dito? Is it Aristotle, Laswell, Shannon Weaver, or Berlos model? So, let's see your answers. Ayan, may C, may B. Okay. Let's see what's the answer for this one. It's Shannon Weaver's model of communication. So, si Shannon Weaver, no, ang nag-introduce ng noise. Si Shannon Weaver kasi, sa model nila, na-introduce ang noise. Kung pansinin natin yung model ni Aristotle na wala pang noise. Balikan nga natin konti. Ayan, di ba? It's just linear. Wala pa yung idea of noise. But Shannon Weaver introduced the idea of noise. And in the other models, makikita na natin yung noise. But it started with Shannon Weaver. Okay. So ayan, magkaroon tayo ng konting discussion kapag lumabas ito sa board exam. Ano ba yung mga tatandaan natin? Okay, kapag Aristotle model, tandaan natin ay speech. Okay, tandaan niyo yan, kapag Aristotle model, speech. Okay, bakit? Kasi nga, kay Aristotle, naniniwala siya na it is linear communication. Halimbawa, ako nagdi-deliver ako ng speech, nakikinig lang kayo, hindi naman kayo sumasagot. Nagigets niyo ba? Kaya magdi-deliver lang ako ng speech kaya sa graduation, mga ganun. So you just listen. That's why it's linear. Okay, that's why speech is the best example for Aristotle's model. Nagigets ba? Now, kay Laswell's model naman ay in which channel? Again, kay Laswell's model, in which channel? Okay? So kapag focus sa channel yung tanong, kay Laswell yan. Alright? Next, Shannon Weaver, yun nga yung noise, and Berlos SMCR model ay emotions and commonalities. So kay Berlos model, emotions ang highlight natin. Kapag kay Aristotle speech, Lastwell, in which channel, noise kay Shannon Weaver, emotions and commonalities. So i-drills natin siyang konti. Sagot kayo dyan sa chat box. Or you can answer naman na magsalita kayo, pwede naman, kahit hindi ko kayo naririnig. Kapag noise, kanino? Ayan, Shannon Weaver. Kapag naman emotions, ano yung sagot? Kapag
Berlos
emotions,
po.
kay Berlos. Ayan, sumagot
Berlos
pala.
po.
Very good. Kapag naman speech, kanino yon? Kay
Aristotle po.
Aristotle. Very good. Okay, so yan naman pala. Nakakapag-speak naman pala kayo sa ano. Alright. So, proceed na tayo sa next question. I hope you still follow. Yan. So, during the oath-taking, yan, mag-oath-taking na kayo guys. I-manifest yun na sa January. Ako nag-oath-taking ako ng January. Nag-pass ako ng December and may oath-taking sa January. So, ganun din kayo kapag, or papasa naman pala kayo. Pag pumasa kayo this September, you will have your oath-taking sa January. So, what is your answer in this question? Of the September 2023 let takers deliver the speech, what type of model is used? A, linear, B, interactional, C, transactional, or D, introspective? Yung mga nakinig, alam mo yung sagot. So the answer here is, it's linear model. Kasi nga sabi ko, kapag kay Aristotle, it's speech. No? It's linear. Okay? Linear yung model ni Aristotle. Alright? So, by the way, ano lang, additional story lang sa inyo. Kapag kasi nag-top kayo sa board exam, guys, meron kayong meron kayong specific na mag-ano pa kayo, tatawagin pa kayo sa stage, ganon. And then, meron kayong exposure, like in front of the 1,000 passers, kayo ay pupunta kayo sa harap and then sabitan kayo ng medals. Okay? And then, syempre sa mga universities ninyo, ganon, you will be delivering speech for testimonial, mga ganon. So ako noon, I dreamt to top the board exam. No? Gusto ko talagang mag-top ng board exam. Kaso nga lang, hindi kinaya ng mga English major kasi medyo mahirap ang ating majorship. Pero thankfully naman, I got a high rating. Pero hindi lang talaga umabot. Pero ngayon, my dream, gusto ko na ipasa yung dream ko sa inyo ngayon, guys, na I hope you top the board exam, not just pass the board exam, so that, you know, you will have your moment, no? Kapag nag-top kayo sa board exam. All right? So, ayun nga. Ang model of communication kasi is divided into three, no? We have linear model, interactive, and transactional model. Kapag linear model, it's one-way communication. Tandaan nyo yan, linear model, one-way. Kaya nga linear. Okay, interactive naman, it's two-way of communication. Okay? So dito na yung idea na may sender receiver. Tapos nagpapalitan na sila. Okay? Sender can be the receiver can be the sender as well. That's why it's called interactive model. The transactional model naman is the most complex among the three. Conversations where messages evolve in complexity as the interaction progresses. So, ayan yung transactional models. Hindi lang siya yung balikan lang ng communication. It changes pa. It's very complex. All right? Now, next tayo. Due to poor preparation and often being half asleep while studying, ayan, John failed the lab. To comfort him, Sarah gave him a warm hug and a reassuring tap on the back. What type of nonverbal communication is demonstrated? Okay. So, may sumasagot ng B, may A, pero mostly it's A ang sagot nila. Wala bang C at D dyan? So, ito daw si John. Ayan, dahil inaantok siya habang nagre-review. May inaantok ba ngayon? So, inaantok dyan, baka mangyari sa inyo nangyari kay John. O huwag kayong aantok-antok, no? So, dahil niya kunyari mag-enroll kayo sa LEAP, di ba manonood kayo ng mga video lecture? So, ay antok-antokin kayo. Pero tandaan niyo guys, malay niyo pala yung inantok-antok nyo ngayon, yung pala yung magpapapasa sa inyo or magpapatap, no? Yung isang tanong lang na pinikitan ninyo guys or nag-antok-antok kayo, yung pala yung magpapatap sa inyo or negatively magpapabagsak pala sa inyo. Joke lang. Ayan. So kaya kapag nagre-review guys, dapat you make sure that you are 100%, no? Physically, mentally, hindi kayo naantok. All right. So the answer here is haptics. It's letter A. So haptics siya. Bakit? Ayan. Discuss natin. Ay, wala pa pala. Mamaya na lang yung rationale. Proceed muna tayo sa next question. Kasi sabay-sabay ko na silang i-rationalize. So, eye contact, hand gestures, and body language are examples of A. Kinesics, B. Proxemics, C. Paralanguage, or D. Chronemics. So, kinesics ba siya, proxemics, paralanguage, or chronemics? Saan pasok yan? Okay. So, may sumagot, mga puro A, may D, may B. Sige, ano pa yung iba? Tingnan natin mga sagot ninyo. Okay, may C din, para language. Alright, sige. So, tingnan natin kung ano ang tamang sagot. So, the correct answer here is, it's actually it's letter A. Okay, it's letter A. Now, discuss na natin ano ba tong mga ito. Okay? So, in communication kasi, it's not always verbal communication. It's not always linguistic communication. There's also what we call extra-linguistic and non-verbal. Okay? Which means we do not use words, we do not use text for us to communicate to other people. Okay? Kaya tinatawag silang non-verbal communication. At yung non-verbal communication can be divided into 5, no? It can be divided into 5. The first one is kinesics. When we say kinesics, tandaan niyo body language. Yun lang. Kinesics, body language, no? Pag haptics naman, touch, no? Haptics, touch. Pag paralanguage naman, we call it vocalic sometimes. So dito naman, pasok niyan ay voice, tone, etc. Ito yung kapag paralanguage, ito yung pagtaas ng boses, yung lakas ng boses, yung manner mo ng pagsasalita, galit ka ba, masaya ka ba, yan. Okay? Sa proxemics naman ay space. Tandaan nyo, proxemics, space. Pag chronemics, chrono means time. So, tandaan nyo lang yan. Kapag kinesics, body language, haptics, touch, paralanguage, voice tone, proxemics, personal space, and chrono or chronemics is time use. O drills nating mabilis lang. Sagot kayo sa chat or pwede kayong kung gusto niyo sumagot sa ano, pwede naman. Okay. So kapag sinabi natin kapag sinabi kong ano, sinabi ko na yung sagot, no. Pag sinabi nating space, ang sagot ay pag space,
Proxemics po.
proxemics, very good.
Proxemics
Kapag
po.
time naman, kapag time,
Chronemics po.
Chronemics po.
pag voice tone,
Paralanguage.
Paralanguage po.
kapag naman touch,
Haptics.
body
Haptics po.
language naman.
Kinesics po.
Okay,
Kinesics.
very good. Okay. Thank you for your participation. So sana guess nyo yan kasi common din yan sa board exam, no, na lumalabas yan. Okay? I remember pa sa board exam may ganitong tanong. So you better review this one. Okay? Ayan. So ano pa natin, no, i-elaborate natin yung paralanguage kasi yung paralanguage nahati pa siya sa iba't ibang ano pa, no, topics pa ang paralanguage. Ang una dyan ay tone of voice. Kapag sinabi natin tone of voice, it's the emotional quality. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Or are you in fear? Ganon. So that's when we say tone of voice. When we say pitch naman, it refers to the voice highness and lowness. No, kapag highness, lowness, pitch yan. Kapag volume naman, it's the loudness and softness. Kapag speed of speech naman, siyempre speaking rate, and pauses naman ay brief silences. Okay, yung medyo nakakalito lang naman dito sa dalawa ay yung pitch and volume. Tandaan nyo, kapag volume, loudness, softness. No? Loudness, softness. Kapag pitch naman, highness and lowness. No? So, pitch, highness, lowness. Kapag volume, loudness, softness. Alright? So, madali lang naman ito. Pero din yung mga medyo nalilito yung iba sa pitch and volume. So, I hope na hindi nyo may interchange yung dalawa. Alright. Next tayo. Which plot device involves introducing a false clue or piece of information to mislead the reader or characters? For instance, in a mystery story like one where an old woman is suspected as the killer but is not actually guilty. Is it A, the use ex machina, B, cliffhanger, C, in medias res, or D, red herring? Okay. So, ito daw yung mga kwento na, kumbaga, magbibigay sila ng mga false clue. Parang kala mo siya pala, pero hindi naman pala siya. No? Parang binibigyan ka lang ng idea. Usually sa horror test, mga horror films or thriller films, mystery films, mga ganyan. No? Or mystery novels or literature, ganyan. Na binibigyan tayo ng idea ni author na ganito, pero hindi naman pala yon. Pinapaasa lang niya tayo. So, ano yung tamang sagot dyan? Ang mga sagot niyo, check natin ha. May mga A, Deus Ex Machina. Okay, sure ba kayo dyan? May mga cliffhanger din, letter B. Meron ding red herring, may in medias res. Okay, so let's reveal the answer. So, ito siguro probably unfamiliar yung iba. Pero at least today, thankfully, you are blessed. Malalaman nyo ang mga ito. So the answer here is red herring. Okay, it's red herring. It's not Deus Ex Machina, it's not cliffhanger, and it's not in medias res, but it's red herring. Letter D. So, kakaunti lang yung nag-letter D. Ayan, mabibilang lang sila. Very good kayo, ah. Yung mga ano dyan. Parang may mga magtatap ata dito, ah. Alam na nila agad yung mga ganito. Medyo mahirap kasi to, no? So, ito pa, next tayo, bago ko i-rationalize kasi magkakakonect naman. In the movie Avatar, there was a seemingly unsolvable problem where humans invaded Pandora. Yung manonood ng Avatar dyan, di yung Avatar Airbender, yung Avatar na kulay blue, which was suddenly solved. What is the plot device used? Okay, is it A, Deus Ex Machina, B, cliffhanger, C, in medias res, or D, red herring? So ano kayong tamang sagot dyan sa Avatar? Na, di ba yung ano sa kwento sa Avatar, yung Avatar na una ha, yung bandang huli parang hopeless na yung mga ano, di ba, yung mga Avatar, mga ganon. So, bigla yung mga animals, nag-ano sila, di ba, parang naging na-activate sila and then, di ba, natalo bigla yung mga kalaban, ganon. So, parang hopeless na, then suddenly there was something that happened that solved suddenly the problem. So, anong tawag dyan? Is it A, Deus Ex Machina, cliffhanger, immediate stress, or red herring? The answer here is, it's actually letter A. So marami nakakuha, nakakatuwa naman that you're familiar with the Deus Ex Machina. Okay. So let's have here the plot devices, okay? So ito yung mga iba't ibang ginagamit ng mga authors to, do a plot. So una dyan ay Deus Ex Machina. Tandaan niyo kapag Deus Ex Machina, unexpected resolution. Minsan tinatawag din ng Deus Ex Machina na divine intervention. Okay, halimbawa, ito yung mga palabas na let's say parang wala nang solution, then bigla bababa yung magpapadala yung Diyos ng anghel, ganyan, mula sa langit at bigla mo solve ang problem. Mga ganon. Kaya yun ang Deus Ex Machina, may divine intervention or suddenly the problem will be solved because of the intervention of a divine, power. Okay? Deus Ex Machina yan. Next, in medias res. Ang in medias res naman ay starting in the middle. Ito yung mga story na nag-umpisa sa gitna. Okay, in medias res. Ano ba yung magandang dyan? Example. In medias res, last time kasi nanonood ako ng K-drama yung title nun, yung parang Escape of the Seven. Alam niyo yan, if you're familiar. Pero yung Escape of the Seven, may part doon na pinakita agad ano yung mangyayari. Okay, nasa gitna siya agad. And then suddenly it came back to the first part. So may mga ganyang type of story, right? Na it starts with the middle part of the story. Nandun na siya sa bandang, kumbaga pa-climax na siya. And then biglang babalik sa 'di ba, sa umpisa. That's what we call in medias res. Kaya nga medias, 'di ba? Parang mid, gitna. Right. Red herring naman, misleading clue. Cliffhanger, ito yung suspenseful ending. Kumbaga, cliffhanger, ito yung mga pabitin. No? Parang papaasahin tayo. Tapos wala siyang, may pabitin effect ang kwento. Alright? Next, foreshadowing naman is hinting future events. So, foreshadowing, nagbibigay na ng clue si ating author para mag-gets natin what will happen, no? Next, all right? Halimbawa, yung mga nanonood sa ng Attack on Titan, Attack on Titan yung example. Kaya pala yung anime na yon. Sa Attack on Titan kasi, yung Beast Titan, no? Yung bata siya, meron siyang parang mga display na mga sa gilid. Parang, tawag dito mga stuff toy. Yung isa sa mga display niya ay parang gorilla. Parang gorilla siya, ganon. Tapos yan, nung naging Beast Titan siya yun, naging gorilla type of beast siya. Okay, so nagbigay na siya ng clue doon na magiging ganun klase siya. Okay, that's what we call foreshadowing. And of course, common naman yan, flashback, past event revisit. So bumabalik sa nakaraan. Okay, so that's what we call flashback. So I think we need to bilisan lang natin lang natin siya, what do you call this, drills. All right, pag sinabi nating it starts in the middle, ang sagot?
In medias
In medias
Medias
res.
res. Kapag namang false clue,
red herring.
Red
false-
herring.
Herring. Kapag naman
DA.
unexpected intervention or divine intervention.
Deus ex machina.
Ex machina
Very
po.
good. Kapag naman suspenseful ending or mga pabitin, ano yun?
Cliffhanger po.
Kapag naman nagbibigay
Cliffhanger.
ng clue na kung ano yung mangyayari in the future, yun ay
Foreshadowing po.
foreshadowing. Very good. Okay. Sige. So I think naintindihan nyo naman, no? Yung ating mga plot devices. Now, proceed na tayo sa question number 10. Despite Teacher Jericho's passionate discussion in class, learners were able to observe only a limited amount due to the noise from nearby construction. What type of communication barrier does this scenario illustrate? Again, despite Teacher Jericho's passionate discussion in class, learners were able to absorb only a limited amount due to the noise from nearby construction. So what type of communication barrier does this scenario illustrate? Is it A, physical, B, physiological, C, semantic, or D, psychological? So anong klaseng communication barrier yan? So tingnan natin mga sagot ninyo. Merong may A, may B, may C. Alright? Sige. Keep trying lang. Alright. So ano kayo tamang sagot dito? Alright. So reveal na natin ang tamang sagot. So the answer here is physical barrier. Alright? It's physical barrier. Alright. Now, pag-usapan natin ang mga communication barriers para maintindihan ninyo kung ano ba yung mga communication barriers. So, umpisahan natin siya sa physical barrier kasi yun na may dinidiscuss ko, no? Kapag physical barrier, ito yung mga environmental obstacles. Halimbawa, si teacher mo, nagtuturo siya, and then mayroong humarang sa harap mo. Merong kaklase mo na humarang sa iyong harap, kaya hindi mo makita yung sinasabi niya or sinusulat niya sa board. Okay? Or, ayan yung mga halimbawa sa mga public school, na-experience ko kasi habang nagkaklase kayo may nagwe-welding or mga nagko-construction sa katabi ninyong room, mga ganon. So, hindi mo maintindihan yung tinuturo ni teacher. So, these are what we call physical barriers. Alright? Remember, kapag environmental obstacles, that's what we call physical barriers. Now, balikan natin sa semantic barriers. Kapag semantic barriers naman, language misunderstandings. Kapag hindi naintindihan yung sinabi mo, or hindi talaga naunawaan yung word, no? It's what we call semantic barriers. Because semantic means meaning, no? Hindi niya maintindihan yung meaning. Ito yung halimbawa, yung mga estudyante mo, let's say, ikaw, teacher ka, mga English dyan, may mga English major ba dito? Yan, kaway-kaway, yung mga English major, mga fellow judgmentals daw ang tawag sa atin eh. Halimbawa, English ka sa klase, gano'n, no? You speak straight English, hindi ka naman maintindihan ng mga ng mga estudyante mo. No? Hindi ka naman nila magets. So, semantic barrier ang tawag doon. Kaya minsan we adjust our language, right? Depending on our students. Next, psychological barriers, mental state affecting communication. So kapag psychological barriers, all in the mind, no? Kapag mental state siya ng tao. Alright? Next, organizational barriers, structural hindrances. Ito halimbawa nito, ito yung kunyari galing kay CEO, ganyan nagbaba siya ng memo, mga ganun-ganon. Tapos pababasa mo, hindi mo na maintindihan kasi galing doon, pababa na pababa, hindi naging clear yung communication. Okay, that's what we call structural hindrances or organizational barriers. All right. So it starts from the top and then hindi siya naging clearly communicated to the bottom or the other parts of the structure or organization. Okay? Next, cultural barriers naman, differences in customs. No, may mga practices kasi in others that we do not practice, no? Halimbawa, yung ganyan sa atin, di ba ganyan sa atin, it's okay or it means okay or money. But in other countries, it could be, it meant differently. Pwede siyang, it means parang, yung maselang part ng mga tao or babae, ganon. Okay, so iba-iba kasi how we interpret, no? Parang yung salitang ito okay sa atin, pero sa ibang lugar pala hindi. Alright? Next tayo ay physiological barriers. Ito naman yung physical impairments. Okay? Pag physical impairments naman ay physiological barriers. Halimbawa, halimbawa malabo yung mata ko. Yan, isa kong mata kasi it's very malabo, no? Hindi na siya okay. So, nagiging siya, halimbawa, may sinusulat si teacher ko, hindi ko makita. Or halimbawa, yung isa kong tenga ay mahina ang pandinig. So, ayan. yung nagko-cause ng barrier. That's physiological barrier. All right.